Hey guys, I'm here with a scary story for you all today. So I was going to make a very different video, but this story is too good not to share. And it's actually from a Reddit user. It's because I woke up with writing written on my arms. It wasn't mine. I am a 27-year-old female. I've always had an unexplainable connection with my grandmother's side of the family. Ever since I was small, I would get random dreams about people I didn't know that would turn out to be relatives. I would instantly recognize them when I saw their faces in real life, and they would tell me things about themselves and our family history that no one else knew. They also tended to pass away soon after meeting me. As I got older, these dreams became less frequent and more distant, but I still had them occasionally. When I was 18, I moved out of state, and these dreams stopped completely. Fast forward to last year, I am living in a new city again. My boyfriend and I were lying in bed watching a movie while hugging each other. We were both sound asleep within 20 minutes. My mom called me about an hour later because she was heading to the hospital. She had been having contractions, and there was no stopping them. This is great news, because we are finally having our first baby. My brother and dad are coming with her to support her since my sister and I live out of state. But before they leave, my dad wants to say goodbye. So he comes into my room. I tell him about my mom going into labor, and he says that he'll be back in 2 weeks. I asked him why, and he said he has to take care of some business. I think he means legal stuff. He nods and leaves. My boyfriend and I go back to watching our show and fall asleep again. About 10 minutes later, my phone starts ringing. I look over and see that it's my mom. I don't answer since it's late and she knows not to call unless it's important. The phone keeps ringing and I start freaking out. Something must be wrong. I tell my boyfriend to call his mom so I can use her phone, and then I run to the bathroom to try and throw up. When I get back, the phone is still ringing. I answer it, and my mom says, "Hello." I ask if everything's okay, and she says, "No, I haven't been in labor for hours. The baby isn't coming." I think something's wrong with me. I tell her to stay calm, and that I'm sending help. I hang up and start calling my dad. He doesn't pick up the phone, so I keep trying until I get a voicemail. I leave a frantic message saying that we need him right now, and to please come home. I dial my mom's phone again, and ask her if she could go to the hospital without me. She agrees, and I tell her what to do. While I'm on the phone with my mom, my dad calls me back. I scream at him to come back right now, and he hangs up on me. I hear him call my mom, and she gets off the phone and goes to sleep. My dad calls me again, but I let it go to voicemail. Out. In the morning, my boyfriend drives me to the nearest hospital where I get checked in. My mom joins me, and the doctor tells us that we will run some tests and keep me overnight just in case. We wait and wait. Finally, the doctor comes back and tells us that my mom is fine and that everything is okay. The baby is still cooking, but there's nothing wrong with her or me. My boyfriend and I drive home and I find out that my dad hasn't returned. I call him and he tells me to stop calling him and that he'll be back in 2 weeks. I tell him that my mom needs him and he hangs up. I go upstairs to take a shower, and when I come down, my boyfriend is waiting for me with a grim expression. He says that my dad had called him and told him that if he ever tries to contact me again, he should kill himself. I am furious and call my dad again. He picks up the phone and I scream at him. I tell him that he promised to never leave us alone, and that he's being a coward by abandoning us like this. I hang up and refuse to speak to him until he returns home. My mom and I spend the next few days talking, playing games, and catching up. My aunt comes over and tells us that she found my dad passed out drunk in a ditch. According to her, he had called her in a panic because he thought he might kill my mom. She brought him home and put him to bed. He stayed there for 3 days, drinking and sleeping until my uncle made him leave. According to my aunt, my dad had told her that he was so scared that he might hurt my mom and the baby that he had to escape. He thought that I was possessed by a demon that was controlling him and making him violent. He had tried to hit my mom, but when he looked into her eyes, he couldn't do it. He was so confused and scared that he drove into the desert and passed out. My aunt drove him to AA and then left him there. I want to believe my aunt because she seems trustworthy, but I do understand why my dad would suddenly become violent and why he would think I was possessing him. One day, while I'm browsing social media, I see a post on a local buy and sell group. It's a photo of my dad and a caption that reads, "Looking for someone to buy my daughter. I don't want her anymore. Serious inquiries only." I report the post and move on. I had blocked my dad's number, so I didn't know that he was calling me. A week later, my mom's water breaks at 2 a.m. My brother and I drive her to the hospital. When we arrive, my dad is there waiting for us. He looks miserable. My brother and I are both furious with him. After my dad signed some papers establishing paternity, he left without saying a word to either of us. Mom gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, and we named her after my dad's mother. Showed up the following weekend to meet his granddaughter, and seemed happy enough. But when he picked her up, he started crying and told us that he had made a huge mistake, and that he wanted to try harder to be a good father. We were all eating dinner together one night, and my dad was telling us stories about his childhood. My baby was sitting in her bouncer, watching him intently. Suddenly, my baby reaches out and grabs my dad's face. We all laugh, but my dad immediately turns pale and stands up. He drops his plate and runs to the bathroom. My sister and I exchange glances, because this isn't the first time he's freaked out around my daughter. While he's in the bathroom, I go to check on him. He's sitting on the floor with his head in his hands. I ask what's wrong, and he tells me that he's fine. I ask him to explain what happened earlier, and he tells me that he's not ready to talk about it. He gets up and goes to wash his hands. As he turns the water on, he lets out a yell. I ask if he's sure he's okay, and he tells me to get away. I back off and let him cool down. A few minutes later, he comes out and tells me that he's sorry and that he'll try to explain later. Later that night, he comes to my room and asks me to sit down. He tells me that he didn't want to scare me, but he has to tell me the truth. He says that when he was 10 years old, his father was driving him to school. His father started acting weird, kind of like he did the other night. Dad said that he felt a presence in the car with us and that he tried to warn his dad, but he didn't listen. He said that his dad crashed into a tree and died on impact. The presence was gone. I thought that maybe my dad was involved in some kind of cult activity, but then I remembered that he used to read books about demons and the occult when he was younger. Maybe he was just dabbling. A few months later, I'm sitting in my living room with my boyfriend, my mom, and my baby. My dad walks in and sits down. He looks tired. I ask how work is, and he says, "It's fine." We talk for a little bit, and then he gets up to leave. As he walks past me, he grabs my arm and starts writing on it with his finger. I look at him confused. He writes faster and faster until he's done. Then he runs out of the house. I look down to see what he wrote, and it reads, "Don't trust her. She's not your mom. You have to run." And that is the end of the story. And that's one scary story. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe for more content. Also, if you want to listen to more scary stories, check out the playlist of podcasts. Thanks for watching, and bye.